given your expertise in the law of the seas, how have you seen India's relationship with international law change over the years?
So that's a good question. And it's a really good question to ask in the context of the law of the sea, because India actually has had a significant presence at various instances of the negotiation and then the renegotiation and then the operationalization of the law of the sea in its various regimes. So India was a very visible presence at UNCLOS 3, the negotiations of the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. And India was seen as, at various points, as one of the radical members at the negotiation, presenting positions that were seen as by the West as quite extreme, but were actually very well regarded by most of the developing states present there. India was seen as a leading voice of the G77. In the time after the adoption of the UNCLOS, India played quite a significant role in. So India was so one of the things that made the UNCLOS negotiations so fraught was this question of the deep seabed regime. And India, as it turns out, was actually the very first state to file an application for exploring the Indian Ocean. So it was the very first applicant state for deep seabed mining under the terms of the law of the sea, and therefore had a big role to play also in these years where there was quite a lot of division between the West, led by the US, and UNCLOS party states. India played a role in trying to bridge these gaps and make the regime functional. And at present, India is quite an important voice, not so much in the ongoing UN negotiations on biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. There is an Indian delegation there, but they don't actually have a significant presence. But they are quite a significant presence at the International Seabed Authority, which is doing its own work in drafting an exploitation code. India is not only quite vocal in the negotiations at the Council and the Assembly, but India also has a representative on the Legal and Technical Commission, which some argue does all of the work. Except that, and this representative is a member of the Ministry of Ministry of Earth Sciences. So not a lawyer, is a scientist, but clearly one of the 20 or 25 people who are basically authoring the exploitation regulations under the aegis of the International Seabed Authority. So there's a deep relationship with the making of the law of the sea and with its operationalization. Has the relationship been changing? So one of the ways in which, of course, it's been changing is that it's gone from, India used to be quite a political actor in the law of the sea negotiations with a strong stake in the terms on which the law of the sea would be agreed, the terms in which different regimes would be defined. Now it plays a more, some would say, technocratic role, because it's basically no longer one of the states that does the work of questioning what the law of the sea is all about, or whether it's fulfilling all of its aspirations of marrying extraction with distribution and environmental protection, but is really engaged in this business of trying to formulate at the Legal and Technical Commission applicable rules, and at the Council and Assembly of the International Seabed Authority is one of the states that is quite supportive of the work that the International Seabed Authority is doing. So it's moved from being a questioner and a critic and a staunch third world state to a state that is much more within the folds